Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today so that we could discuss Death Wish 5. This is the end of the Death Wish series. Canon Films had issues by this point, so this was not a Canon Films release. However, it does have a Canon connection because Canon bigwig Menachem Golan, when he split from that company, formed 21st Century Films, and they produced Death Wish 5. Charles Bronson is, of course, back as architect Paul Kersey. He's back in New York. Yes, he's bounced from city to city until finally we're back at the start to close out the series. He's trying to he's trying to live just a normal life. Of course, his new girlfriend happens to have an ex-husband who's involved with the mob. He starts showing up, causing problems, and Paul Kersey has had enough. He's not going to... At this point, it takes very little to trigger Paul Kersey to begin a wave of vigilante justice, and that's exactly what happens in Death Wish 5. So this movie is very wacky. It returns to the kind of Death Wish 2, Death Wish 3 type environment. There's a ton of wild action scenes. Bronson is 71 years old at this point, and he's still the biggest badass in the movie. He's never, I don't know that I would ever consider him really super mobile in this series, but he guns people down with ease. They give him tons of like funny set pieces to do, wacky set pieces. He's got a remote control exploding soccer ball at one point. He rolls off some of the best one-liners of the series in this movie. It definitely has an over-the-top camp vibe to it. I think they were trying to like go out on a high note and really have a bunch of big memorable set pieces. And some of them are memorable just because of how like B-movie fun they are. But I actually think Death Wish 5 is a really solid movie. I know some people don't really consider it part of like the official Death Wish canon. I do. I think it's really entertaining. And I think if a lot of those people went back and watched it again, revisited it, I think maybe they would have a new appreciation for it, because I do think this has everything you want out of a Death Wish movie. It's just awesome to see Charles Bronson going after, on a vigilante rampage, in my opinion. But this one's got blood. It's got a ton of memorable dialogue. It's got really wacky villains. Michael Parks is in this movie, so that's kind of neat. I just think it's maybe not the best. It's not the best movie in the series or the wildest movie in the series, but it's an appropriate end, and I'm glad that it got to end in the hands of Menachem Golan's 21st Century. If it couldn't be canon. But anyway, that's the end of my Death Wish review series. What a series, amazing. I'll probably revisit it in a few years and maybe re-review it just because I love these movies so much. But anyway, that's my review. If you want to check out more, you can go right here on YouTube to over 1,000 movies in my movie review playlist. But thank you so much for watching this one. I do greatly appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you soon.